PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. This is the second series in Education is the Key to Success. As you've heard me say for years, repetition is the mother of all learning. It doesn't matter if somebody's ever told you no. If you push forward and got a yes, that was being repetitive. You knew what your goals were, and what you decided to do was achieve your goals. Well, we talked about last week that people get into education and they get to a certain level. And let me just repeat, whether it was elementary school, maybe a third or fourth grade as our grandparents did, or you got through high school or got a GED or went to a community college, got a degree, got a master's or got a doctorate, usually that's where education stops. One of our children is actually in the car business, and he is a technician. And I promise you, that is a continuing education. As Toyota continues to build more and more complex vehicles, then the education for our technician goes on. So he's inundated with school, which is something that he really didn't like as a child. So we're going to cross over to something, and we've taken a different chapter in our life, correct?
Yes, definitely.
So way before I met Courtney, when I was at the age of 7 years old, my dad made the stupid mistake in buying me a Sears Deluxe 3.5 Briggs & Stratton mini bike. I rode that mini bike until it wouldn't ride anymore. In fact, I was jumping it, doing stupid stuff on my grandparents' farm, and I finally broke the frame in half. So my father came in for the weekend. It was during the summer. And I said, hey, Dad, the frame's broke on my mini bike. So he loads it up in the back of my grandfather's truck. And I thought, well, we're going to the welders just to weld the frame. My father went to the junkyard and threw it away. He basically told me, if you can't take care of stuff, then you don't deserve to have it. And that broke my heart. But since that period of time, so by the time I was in my low teens, I've been riding full adult motorcycles on the street. And I'm bringing Courtney in a second. I promise you I'm bringing her in, all right? But I started riding these motorcycles. I bought my very first motorcycle at 18 years old. It was a Kawasaki 1973 Z1 Black Engine 900, fastest production bike for that year. And, you know, I've been riding heavy-duty big motorcycles on the street forever. And just like every other motorcycle rider that I've ever met in my entire life, I am the best motorcycle rider on earth. The things that I think I'm doing in a curve are not actually true. So once the kids had grown up and we'd moved to Texas, I looked at Courtney one day and I said, I'm going to buy another motorcycle. I'd been, motorcycle deprived for a very long time. And I looked at her and I said, I would really like you to ride motorcycles with me. I put her on the back of my motorcycle, and that lasted about 2 seconds. So I bought her a motorcycle. And I left it in the garage, and I begged her. I said, just learn to ride. Just take it out, ride around the neighborhood. And this went on for, I don't know, months, until she finally rode it. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Courtney. You were at a point in time where you had zero interest in riding motorcycles. Is that right or wrong?
Oh, zero interest.
And so tell the crew here, why you didn't want to ride.
Just preconceived notions of what the ride community was, and safety, and just I had other things going on in my life. It wasn't on my bucket list of things to do.
Every single time I went out of town, I'd call every night. First thing I'd ask is, have you ridden a motorcycle yet? And
No.
the answer was no. Every single time. And then once upon a time, I came home on a long week. It was late at night, and there was a burn mark in the grass and a dent in the front fender of my son's Corolla. And she thought maybe I wouldn't notice that.
That was me.
Yeah,
That
was you?
That was me.
So what happened?
So,
You did take the motorcycle out.
I did take the motorcycle out, and I actually didn't take the motorcycle out because I wanted to take the motorcycle out. I took the motorcycle out because I wanted to be able to tell Casey, I rode it, quit asking me. And I enjoyed myself so much, I ran it out of gas. And one of my neighbors was nice enough to give me their lawnmower gas to get me back home. And by the time I got back home, J. Michael was home from work. And so I popped up on the grass to go around his car and promptly fell over.
So multiple motorcycles later, Courtney is joined up with women riders groups all over the United States. And now, and she hates me telling this, but she's ridden 4 continents and hundreds of thousands of miles on a motorcycle. And, that wasn't enough. We're on the street. We saw places in America that people haven't seen. And I'm just telling you, We've just been to 2 events. I'll fast forward. In both of the events, nobody played the radio. There was no TV. And you had to sit with a group of adults and have conversations. And these conversations weren't 5 or 10-minute conversation. They went on for hours about where they've been, what they've done, what their goals are. And I just don't think things like that are done anymore.
No, they're not.
So it's crazy. I'm going to flip to the next slide right here. I'd never been down on a motorcycle before. I was really proud of that. I bragged about that as, I've seen people drop their motorcycles in a parking lot and everything. I just crashing a motorcycle was never really something I wanted to do.
That's changed.
So I
think it's a bragging right now.
Right. So it's funny because Courtney talked me into doing a street course with the Fort Worth Police Department. And I looked at her and like any husband, rolled my eyes and go, what am I going to learn from the Fort Worth police officers? But she said, you know what? We've been invited. It's going to be a closed group. Just go. Gang, I'm going to be honest with you. I learned so much in that full day out in that hot asphalt. I couldn't believe how little I knew about a motorcycle and the ability of a motorcycle. So I was indebted that she made me do that. So we've been riding all over the United States. Some of you follow us on Facebook. And we try to post. We do a couple of rides a year, and they're big 6,000-mile rides. And we don't ride highways. We go back roads. We try to see things that people don't see that live in their own state, which is crazy. No radios, no TVs, just out riding. And she decides that she met a girl, Moira Zen, who is a Ducati and BMW gurus, ridden prototype bikes, and just a phenomenal rider. And she talked Courtney into learning how to ride dirt.
Yes, she did.
The next minute, I find out that she wants to buy a BMW 700 lowered motorcycle, and it's in
Sacramento, California.
So we negotiated the deal. There's my quacking. We negotiated the deal. And she flies out to Sacramento, California. And I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to turn it over to her. She goes out there. She buys the motorcycle. She has to get a new set of tires before she does her ride. She goes to Ontario, California, joins the Run for the Wall Central Run from California all the way to Washington, D.C. for the Vietnam Wall. Comes back, meets me in Nashville. We ride from Nashville back to Texas, and one day later she goes back to Louisiana on a motorcycle she'd never ridden before.
Yes. I did.
And then it started like that. So what happened, Courtney, if you can take a few minutes and just say, from the time that you didn't want to ride a motorcycle till now you'd rather be on the motorcycle than anything else, what happened?
Well, I enjoyed riding the bike. It's very, there's a lot of freedom there. It's very empowering. And I met people in the community and they were wonderful. And I've always enjoyed seeing those oddball things. I'm that person you always want to know, who's that person that stops to see the largest belt buckle or sees the damn hole in the ground.
Ball of twine.
Ball of twine.
Right.
The oldest tree. That's me. I'm that person. I love reading all the historical markers and stuff. So this gave me the ability to go do all that, and being able to now ride off road, it gives me the ability to go see things and do things that most people in the United States haven't ever experienced.
And you really, really need me to go with you. Is that correct or incorrect?
I like you to go with me.
But the majority of the time she rides on her own, camps, and goes around the United States because I'll be honest with you. I'm always honest with you. I am not interested in seeing the ball of twine. Through mutual friends, she had so many people that were riding off-road. And we're talking these big ADV, 600 plus pound bikes on loose gravel, loose stone, up and down shale. And it just doesn't make sense to ride that big a motorcycle in an ADV or an adventure type of mode. And we found a group of people that opened a brand new training school in Austin Moto Adventures. You can certainly hit that up on Facebook or Google search them. And we went to their founders inaugural weekend. And once again, gang, I found out that I didn't know anything about riding a motorcycle because everything I'd learned on street was now completely opposite on dirt. And it's repetitive. They can't sit there and go, this is how you do it, and you go do it. You have to fail. So I'm going to show you Remember the guy that doesn't ever wreck his motorcycle? So somehow, some way on their webpage, if you can see down at the bottom of that, that is me still holding the handlebars with my elbow on the ground. And now I'm not recovering this bike like one of these MotoGP riders. I'm going down. And in my mind, I couldn't believe that I was about to wreck this brand new GS 1250 motorcycle. But I went through the sand and I put that sucker on the ground. And I'll be honest with you, when you learn off-road, you learn by that. Because I didn't do that again. And this weekend I repeated my second phase of this class, and I was not going to go down. Now people drop their bikes out there and it's acceptable and they expect you to drop the bike, and I'm not dropping my bike. And second day, at the end of the day again, I'm standing there looking at my motorcycle on the ground going like, did I just drop my bike again? But so I know what I did, and I'm not going to repeat that again. And the more I ride off-road, the more my education is. And so I guess we want to close this out by talking about, it doesn't matter what you do, right? But if you binge watch on TV, you're being entertained by somebody you don't know. If you're playing a video game, and I go to that next level, I get it. People use cheat codes to go to the next level. That's not really going to the next level. But find something that stretches you. Find something you can't initially do, and then start doing it and educate yourself. Absolutely. And find a group of people that you want to do it with. So close us out and talk about the community of women that you've met in just a little brief time, why they're so amazing.
They are very amazing. So I have met women all over the world, very passionate women, and to hear their stories, and a lot of women have come to the motorcycle community because they've overcome something in their life, whether it was an illness, it was a loss.
Let's be honest, it was a divorce.
A divorce, or a spouse passed away, or a child passed away. Right. They've lost a career. Whatever it was, they were seeking something. And they have found a community within riding motorcycles that they felt at home with. The women are very supportive. Occasionally you'll hear a negative something, but not very often. Mostly they support each other. No matter what you're doing, they will support you. Hey, I think that's a stupid idea, but go for it. We'll be here for you when you come back, or hopefully you come back. So I have enjoyed this community as much as I have enjoyed riding the bike and getting out and getting to see things. It's been great.
Making this back to the car business and closing out and everything, maybe I need to apologize for everybody right now. Courtney and I want to be your community. We've been in the car business for so long. And the funny thing about it is there are times when you feel like there's nobody out there. The people you work with are not supportive. The places you are, the customers are getting more and more difficult. And we're here for you. And what we want to do is we want to help you find an escape. The better you are mentally, the greater you're going to be in anything you do. Continuing education is the most important thing. Learn more about the business you're in. Push yourself to the front and give yourself a tremendous opportunity for growth. PK52, the Saturday morning meeting.